I don't know about you music teacher friends, but I hate it when I don't know what's going on. If I get clear instructions, I can relax and I can enjoy whatever the thing is that I'm supposed to be doing because I understand what's happening. I hate it when I don't know what's happening, and that is just exactly how our students feel. They hate it when they don't know what's happening too. So let's give them clear directions. And that's what today's video is all about. There are 3 ways that I know of to really give clear directions. First of all, you can demonstrate the centers. Some people teach the centers the day before or maybe a couple of weeks before. They build up so that the kids have done this activity and they've done that activity and they've done all the different activities. So when they get into their centers, they're just practicing an activity that they've already done. That is a completely legitimate way of doing centers. The second way, if you want the kids to be a little bit more self-sufficient, you can start using task cards. Now, task cards have come in lots of different versions. So some task cards are things like, do these 10 things at this center, or a ring of musical words using just the letters on the staff. So or a ring of songs, sing all these different songs. So those are also task cards, but the kind of task cards that I'm talking about is directions for the center. Now, if you have younger kids, those task cards need to have more of the pictures and simple words because they're not reading very much yet. If you have older kids, then you can explain what it is. Even with that though, I only use a half page for my task card. And I'll show an example of a task card right here. Here is a center that I do called Sing Me a Story, and the kids come out and they pick out a puppet or some kind of a thing to sing with. Usually they sing more if they have a thing to sing with, you know, googly eyes or a stick puppet or a hand puppet. You might have different kind of puppets. And then they sing a conversation. On the task card, it has a suggestion of sentence starters so that they can kind of understand what they're doing. So they sing what they had for breakfast, or they sing what they're doing after school, or they sing what they like about school, or whatever it is that you have as a prompt for them to do. So the task card explains the activity so you don't have to take the time ahead of time to go through it. This is good if you want the kids to explore and be a little more self-sufficient. The third way of explaining what you want the kids to do at the centers is to create a little video. Now, there's a couple of ways you can use this video. First, you could play the video at the beginning of the center day. I do that sometimes. Or if I'm having a sub, I play the video at the beginning. So what I do beforehand is I take my phone and I go around from center to center and I film what that center is and I talk about what I want them to do there. Sometimes I even film kids doing it from maybe a previous year, or another grade is doing that same activity, so that I have actual kids modeling how to do the activity. That can help explain it a little bit clearer as well. But at least you going around and talking about what they're doing, that saves you that time of having to explain it in front of the kids. That also helps if you have back-to-back classes like a lot of people do, and you need a minute to just set up the centers when the kids get in there. Like, you've had a 4th grade and you've had a 3rd grade and now the 2nd grades are doing centers. You had no time in between to set things up. I kind of set things around the room, and then when the kids come in, I just put it down on the floor and I put my little center signs 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 around the room as they're sitting there. But if you have a video showing, they're busy watching the video while you're setting everything up, and that gives you a little bit more time. So that's a little bit more advanced way of doing a video task card. That's 3 easy ways for you to explain how to do the center. So first of all, you just demo them ahead of time. Second of all, you create a card with the directions written on it, either in pictures or words. And then third, you can create a video. Now let's talk about what should be on that task card or video. The task card should be very easy to understand. That might sound obvious. It's not always obvious. I have taught this class in person and had people bring in these task cards that nobody in the class could figure out what the heck they wanted to have it done. What is the activity exactly? Getting that feedback from someone is very important. So once you do write your directions out, have a non-music person, like your third grade teacher or your fifth grade teacher or whatever, for somebody in the office. Look at your task card and see if they can figure out what it is you want the children to do. That's really, really good feedback. But let's go back to actually what you want on there. You want to be very clear. First of all, you want to tell them what the setup is. Sometimes it's good to have a picture of the setup. So if you have a game, for example, if you have cards that you want them to play memory, have a picture of what the cards would look like set out in a grid. You don't want to just have jumbled cards. That's not the same game. So show them exactly how they should set it up. Maybe you have materials that they are going to need for that. Now, you probably have a bin or a basket that you have those materials in. But again, on the task card, if you have a little picture of it, a picture will cross all the boundaries. Kids who can't read, kids who don't speak English, kids, picture's fine. If the activity is a game, the next thing is to put the rules of the game. What's the object of the game? How do you win the game? How do you play the game? How do you start? How do you go through it? How do we sit in a circle? Is this random? How do you want them to interact with each other as a part of a game? If it's a create a rhythm activity or sing a song activity, what do they do first? What do they do next? How do we do this? You can do this in partners or alone, for example. Choose a friend from your group to partner with, right? That's the first step. Then what do they do next? Let's say you're having the kids quiz each other on the lines and spaces of the treble clef staff, and you have boxes of flashcards. What you want the kids to do is one person to quiz the other person, maybe 5 or 6 different ones, and then you switch jobs and the other person quizzes this person. Now, you don't want them to go through the whole box, so you tell them, go through 5 or 6 cards, then switch jobs. That needs to be on that card. So step by step, what do you want them to do? I'm looking up at my Sing Me a Story card, and that's the one I mentioned a minute ago. This is a game where the play says, take turns around the circle. When it is your turn, shake the dice and roll them on the floor. We use story cubes, the Rory story cubes for this. Choose 3 dice. Sing a story about the pictures on the dice. And then pass the box to the next person in the circle. And each person has a puppet or whatever, and they're singing. So that's a little bit more advanced way of doing the puppets that I was talking about before. So if you were in maybe 2nd grade or 3rd grade, you could do Sing Me a Story this way. If you're an older grade, then you actually have a conversation with each other. So there's different levels that you can do each of these, and you'd have a different task card for each of those different levels. The name of the center might be the same, Sing Me a Story. The little guys are just going to sing what they had for breakfast. The middle guys are going to shake those story cubes, and they're going to make a story based on what they see there. That's their prompt. And then the older kids would go ahead and have a conversation. So I'm going to have a singing conversation with someone else. So there's different ways to do it. So you want different task cards for different levels so that the kids know what to do. Now, the last thing you want on your task card is how to end your turn or how to clean up. Yes, indeed, how to clean up. So one of the things I put on the task card is make sure that your center is reset the way it looked when you got here. See the picture above for directions. Or if you have a different picture, like if you have the setup picture at the beginning, you can have the cleanup picture at the end. Again, a picture is so much more helpful than then put all that stuff in this bin. No, all the stuff. No, everything. No, can you make that a little neater, please? You don't need to be taking time doing that. Just give them a picture. Say, make it look like the picture. Make it look like the picture. No, like the picture. You know, you have to be a broken record sometimes. Yeah. So that's how I do centers with the task cards. Task cards can tell the kids what to do from beginning to end, how to set it up, how to do the activity, and then how to clean it up so that then it's reset and we have a nice time for every single person who comes to that center. Everybody gets to have a similar activity, a similar experience, and everybody gets to have fun. Thanks for watching, and remember to subscribe and hit the notify bell so that you know when each new video comes out. Now remember to keep music in the center. Go and make a difference with your kids.